Salutations to foes. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with another presentation. I am just rolling full speed ahead with these interviews, but that are not really interviews. They're conversations with people that inspire me. I inspire them. We follow each other in the great world of social media. And having said all of that, I have someone today that you need to know. You probably already know. You've probably seen his work because he's been working longer than I have as far as work goes. He's always been working. So having said all of that, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Matthew Carter, also known as War. Hi, darling.
How are you doing? As
Hi.
just say the famous Wendy would say, how you doing?
Right. How's your day going?
It is going amazing. Of course, I'm getting some work done. It's supposed to be relaxing today, but because I have so much to do, I was like, I need to get something done today since it's winding down to that time. So it's been an amazing day, though.
It's been an amazing day. And that is because, and we'll get into it, because you're extra busy these days.
And I never would have thought I would be this busy if you would have asked me a few years ago.
Exactly.
This is just turning into something amazing.
Exactly. So we're going to start it off. Where are you from?
Well, as some people may have already picked up from my accent, I'm from the South. I was born and raised in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I moved to Atlanta where I kind of acquired a little bit more of my Southern accent. And I'm now residing in New York City.
New York, New York, New York. I have a little confession to make. I first saw you when I was a young adult. I want to say probably 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there. And I will never forget how beautiful you are. And even then, you were so beautiful. And I remember being able to, get into this world of social media before Twitter and Instagram. We were doing MySpace, and Black Planet. You remember that? So yeah, we come from that era. And I remember being able to write you and tell you that you had inspired me and your look and your beauty. And I love that years later, it is now 2021, the end of 2021, going into 2022, and you are booked and busy.
Oh my gosh. And not just busy, but productive. And I think that's what's really blown my mind.
Tell everyone what you do for a living.
Oh, this is going to be a long one, huh?
Yeah. I have you for an hour.
I do a little modeling.
I have you for an hour.
I do a little modeling, acting. I also publish a couple of novels. I do a little advocacy as well, Gospel Mind. Sometimes I'm mentoring as well. So I have a few people that reach out to me, and I do my best to advocate and mentor, as well as mix it with a little comedy so I can educate and at the same time give people the information that they can utilize to build and grow from. So there are quite a few things I'm doing. I've also become, within the last couple of years or so, a filmmaker. And I'm just in the process of creating a mini series right now, which is what has me really, really busy and productive as of right now.
So I just want you to take your hand like this. Do your hand like this. Do like this. And do this. I love when I see, especially men of color, get ahead in the things that we are passionate about. There are a lot of us, this color of the diaspora, that we turn to entertainment as kind of a way out, because there are 4 ways out of poverty for a Black man. And that is athletics, that is the military, that is academia, or entertainment. Those are the four ways out for us. And so you have what I'm leading up to saying is you have a lot of young men and women that attempt entertainment to be their option, but very few actually belong there, are ordained to be there, get there, and then boom, it starts to work for them. And you're one of those people. You mentioned that you did a lot, but I really was wanting you to focus on your acting career, on your directing career, on making your mini series and things like that, because I followed you for a long time. And to see you move into film and into television is just so exciting. It's so
It is
exciting.
it is very exciting, and I'm glad that you said that, because what I'm realizing, which is really causing me to focus on my acting career, directing a lot more, I'm realizing that within this realm, I'm allowed and I'm able to do everything else when it comes to the advocating, because through the films and through the stories that I'm creating, I'm able to do everything that I mentioned within that realm. And it is really amazing, which is what is causing me to really enjoy. I don't know, you probably kind of see it now. I get so excited just when I think about the possibilities and what God is allowing me to do within this realm. It is just, it's exciting.
I was that one of those people too. I was bombarded with people saying to me, how are you going to give back to your community? How are you going to give back to your community? And it used to anger me to no end, because we didn't ask Caucasians how they were going to give back to their community.
Mm.
It was always us. One of us gets ahead, and then they expect us to sail over a boat and take everybody with us. And as we've seen in times past, I'm not going to say any artist names, can't touch this, but you can't take everyone with you. When you
No.
try to take everyone with you, you sink. So I love what you just said, because I'm able to give back myself through this, creating content that can be watched for years to come. And you and I have this in common. We're also creating content that we own.
Yes.
So no one can take it from us, and it will pay us for the rest of our lives. I got goosebumps when I said that. So I'm going to,
Yeah.
shaman vibes. So I'm just so excited about that. And I want to spend time right there on what you're working on. But I want to say something to you that I've been meaning to say to you since before the Queen of Shade really took off. She was just in the beginning. I have to say thank you. You featured me in your magazine. I don't even think you remember.
I remember. I definitely remember.
You put little old me on the cover of your magazine and wrote a beautiful write-up on me. And I wasn't even this yet. But what I love about directors, see, that's how I know you're a director, is that they can look at a talent and know that there's more, and also how to bring it out of every single actor on their set that they're working with, that they come in contact with, whether they're directing them or not directing them. You brought the best out of me. My grandmother still has the magazine with me on the cover. And she said to me today, who are you interviewing? Because she gets mad at me because I'm doing these like a madman. I just keep making and making and making and making. And I told her, I'm interviewing Matthew Carter today. And she said, oh, but he's the one that put you on the front of that magazine. I said, yes, we're going to do him well today. Nice and easy. It's going to be fun. And she was like, good. She was very happy, because she was like, now you have your platform and you're able to thank him for doing that. That was long before a British newspaper picked me up. You did that for me. And I just have to say thank you for that. So before, yes, yes. Before we get into your work, tell me, are you an only child?
I am not. I'm actually the baby boy of 6.
Wow, Southern indeed. Southern indeed. Big families, big
Yes.
families.
But you would think I was the older brother because everybody always calls me for advice, and it's crazy.
Well, it's because you've got the talent. It's because you've got the passion. It's because you've got the anointing. You're the one doing it. Please explain to everyone why I introduced you as Matthew Carter, AKA War. Please explain to us what the war means.
Well, War is my performer name. It's also who I am becoming. War is actually abbreviated for War Angel Reborn. As you see on my shirt, it says War Angel. And I began to come into war after realizing that's who I am based on everything I've been through. And you know, you've read some of the stories and the things that I've been through. And I started to realize, you know, this angel that I'm becoming, I'm warring through a lot, and I'm helping other people come into their angel or their being as well. And it's a war that we're still going through, not just physical but spiritual. So that's really what I'm fighting and helping people to conquer that spiritual fight and conquer those inner demons that they're attacked by. So this war that I have become, I am manifesting, I'm also nurturing so that I can continue to do more than what I've already done. And I'm very excited about that.
I have to stop myself. I'm actually holding myself because I'm trying not to run in 15 different directions at once. Because I don't think, see, you're here, but I don't think that these people truly know the contributions you have given to many classes, societies, groups. And it is just phenomenal because I know. So I'm trying to keep my excitement and divvy it out as we go along, because like I said, I've got you for an hour. So War, my God, I saw the photo shoot you did as War with the white and the angelic wings and the face. And I just have to say, as a beautiful Black man, you really killed it. You killed it.
Thank
You
you.
killed it. You killed
And
it.
that was a last minute, to be honest with you, that was a last minute look for a photo shoot. I completely had something different in mind, but on my way to the photo shoot, I started to channel Trayvon Martin, and I started to hear him say, people are acting as though I am gone. I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting. And just because I'm an angel doesn't mean I can't fight. And that's when the war angel really started to manifest. And I started to realize and started to hear angels are warriors. They are not weak. And we are on the front line fighting. I wish people would show that. Can you do that? And I started to pick up that as my cross and claimed it and decided to go and be that voice as best as possible.
Angels are warriors indeed. There's a story that I'm reminded of in the Good Book. I'm not a Christian, but I remember the Good Book well. And I remember when Joseph was wrestling with the angel, you know, and I remember when the angel took just his hand and touched the hollow of his thigh and broke it. All he did was touch him, and he broke the hollow of his thigh. And Joseph still hung on and said, I'm not going to let you go till you bless me. I'm not going to let you go till you bless me. We need to understand that there are angels here among us. I like to call them earth angels. You can call them as you call them. What do you call them?
Well, I just say angels, and that is something else that played a part in the war angel who manifested, because I started to reflect on how many people kept telling me, you saved my life. You just don't know what you did for me. You're my angel. You're like my guardian angel. So it really started to come together. Matt, you survived a lot of things that killed a lot of people. It's possible that you are an earth angel, that you're an angel in flesh, but also you have the spirit of the angel within you. So when you come into the room, you can heal people. When you touch people, you can heal people. So you need to hold on to that. And yeah, I just have to say the same thing as you said. It's earth angels, or I just say angels, you know.
Yes, yes. And you would be absolutely right, because once again, the Good Book tells us that, you know, angels at one point saw the women of the earth and they took on flesh so that they could be with the women. giants were born, men, and I love talking about this because it's because of those interactions that happen is why we get the talents that we get that are otherworldly. Because, everybody wants to say, oh, well, we mix with other races. Da, 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 da. No, we mix with other spirits and deities. Angels have all kinds of gifts, and then taking on flesh to put their genetic material into the web of life. We get people like Beyonce, Whitney Houston, you, me, that can do insurmountable odds and miracles for the planet.
And then it's amazing because a lot of people, they just push that away and they just neglect to acknowledge or even try to tap into that part of them. So that is something that the universe, I call it the War Angel universe, this universe that I'm creating is going to really reflect on a lot of that and hopefully get a lot of people to understand that they can tap into their potential to really help create a positive world that we live in instead of focusing on the negative and being a part of the negative things that are happening. So
right.
That is my mission.
Yes, it is. And I love that you understand that there are other things here than just us, and that we are required to fight because there are negative forces that are just as powerful that we have to wage war against. And I love what you said in the beginning of your opening remarks. You said, we have to fight the demons that are inside of us or that attack us. And I know that all too well. I know that all too well. I've had 14 years of therapy dealing with mental illness, bipolar disorder, type 1, acute anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So my life has been a hotbed of turmoil and chaos and ups and downs in my emotions and behavior. But once I realized what I was fighting, it got much better.
And that's what's really important because as a child, I was diagnosed with manic severe depression
Yep.
in 5th grade.
Yep.
And a lot of that came from the visions and things that I was having, but I didn't know who I was because of people telling me what I was and where I was going. So it didn't make sense to me that I would be able to have these visions or be able to do what I was doing because according to man, I was an abomination. Even though I didn't let a lot of people know who I was and kept a lot of things to myself, just hearing things, knowing who I was, knowing what I was attracted to, who I was attracted to, it caused a lot of depression within me. And a lot of people didn't know where it was coming from. And they just continue to tell me, you're too young to be suffering from depression. You're not depressed. You're too young to be diagnosed. And it was what it was, anxiety and depression. For a while, they thought I was having asthma attacks until they realized he's having panic attacks. He's suffering from anxiety. But why? He's too young to. Why? This doesn't make any sense. So it was just a lot of things I kept to myself that because of going through that, I don't want others to go through it if they don't have to.
Yeah.
So in order for that to happen, I have to speak up.
Yeah.
And that's where the warrior comes in.
Yeah. And you've been speaking up for a very long time. And I thank you for that because I follow you and I've heard what you've had to say. I've read what you've had to say. I've seen in clips and different things what you had to say. And I like the narrative of your conversation. It's because you're awakening us to understand that there is more to us than just this. This is nothing. This isn't even the surface of what there really is, because this up here is called a brain. But my mind couldn't even be housed and contained in this house. My mind is just as vast as a galaxy. And people don't understand that. Yes, there's a brain. Yes, this is a heart. But no, my mind, it is vast. And I can create in my mind anything and everything. Hell, I can create new galaxies if I want to. And you know what I notice? I almost called you Mr. Carter.
Okay.
I notice that people with great minds that understand, like you do, what's really going on here and in our stratosphere and cosmos, they always turn to movies.
Hmm.
They always turn to film because it's a way to get it out there in a manner where people go, oh, it's just science fiction. But that's okay. Call it what you want it to be. You
Exactly.
saw it. You saw
Exactly.
it. You remember it. You
And
saw.
those that understand will actually see more than just the science fiction. And that's kind of one of the reasons when I wrote the book, I said action, drama, fantasy, because some people only see the fantasy. They won't understand the drama that is really within what's happening. Or some people call it the documentary,
Yeah.
but a lot of people, they don't believe and they don't understand. So they just have to stay with that word fantasy. But at the same time, I'm hoping they'll at least get the message of what's being told.
I had someone say to me last night, as I explained to them what bipolar disorder is, type 1, it's manic depression. So when you said that, I knew what you were speaking about. And I was speaking to him because we're going to do an interview later this week. And, he wanted a face to face, and it was an amazing conversation. And I said to him, I live by bipolar 1, acute anxiety, and, post traumatic stress syndrome. And he said to me, I admire your stance. I admire what you've had to say. He said, but I don't look at your superpowers as being something wrong with you. He said, I just feel that the world can't explain or understand who you truly are. So they want to label you as having something wrong with you. He said, but we're all watching you use these superpowers every single time you come to us, and we don't see anything crazy about them. They seem very sound to me. And I was like, he made me think. I'm like, you're right. And he said, I tell people this is what I've dealt with. But he said, these are superpowers. There's a lot of times where even when I was in what they call mania, and I was in another country, I was in France, and I'm doing things and I'm wearing things that were like inappropriate for that time or for the street, basically, because with me, I had those episodes where less clothing was better, and then it would be extravagant clothing that I wore. And today, being medicated, being therapized for 14 years, I'm still wearing the craziness. I'm still doing what
But
I
what
was
they think is
doing,
crazy.
what they said was crazy. It's a part of my brand. It's a part of who I am. And he made me think, I'm like, you're right. Like every episode I had back then, starting at 19, I'm 39 now, I'm doing now in real time.
Yeah. And it's crazy that you even mentioned that, because I had to tell someone, I said, I'll be 42. I'll be 42 next year.
Mm-hmm.
And just because your creativity is lacking, I'm not going to dull and diminish mine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe hopefully one day, as you're watching what I'm putting together and what I'm creating, it will hopefully spark something within you, unless you're too focused on fitting in, because some of us are not designed, or we were created to not fit in.
Right. You're right.
We're
You're
just too
absolutely
creative to
right.
fit in.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And what I know to be true is that your work it will have an impact on us all. They will see. And what people don't understand is it's not just us, even though we don't, some of us are made to not fit in.
Mm-hmm.
There is divinity in every single one of us. We are attached to a divine source.
Yeah.
And because of that divinity being in us, we know what's right and what's real when we see it and when we hear it and when we touch it or taste it or smell it. We know what's right. I have goosebumps. Tell us about your book first.
The first book, War Angel: The Awakening,
Yes.
I would say the entire series, War
Yes.
Angel, I label the first one the awakening because it talks about me pretty much awakening to the inner power and the transformation of who I am,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like an origin story. So it's more so focuses on uh, telling people they need to pretty much, as you said earlier, wake up, to what's really happening and understand that every attack is not a physical attack. Some attacks are spiritual, supernatural. But if you don't try to exercise mind, body, and soul, it's it's going to be nearly impossible for you to really awaken.
Mhm.
I talk about a few things that I've been through within the first story, from being attacked by people who were supposed to be Christians,
Mhm.
not just verbally, but physically attacked by these people. I kind of diminish how many people attack me. I only had 7 to represent the 7 deadly sins of
Mhm.
of the people within the Christian community that attacked me. But it was really, I want to say, a little over 100 people that attacked me that night.
Mhm.
Um, I talk about some of the situations when I thought I had friends who I was trying to help who tried to kill me, and it just didn't work out in their favor. So there are a lot of things I talk about within the awakening of my life, trying to be, taken, and how I didn't allow those situations to make me a bitter person, and I still allowed myself to get close to the God and stayed in contact with the God that I believe and that I serve. And because of me developing a relationship personally, it allowed me to connect with Him, because of the angels that were coming to my aid. And, they helped me to awaken by also telling me if I accept this cross that I, was to bear, even though it was going to be a hard road, that, it will, in the end of the day, be a blessing. So I accepted the cross not for the reward, but for the purpose,
Mhm. Mhm.
for the purpose and fighting for those who could no longer fight.
Mhm.
So I could care less about the awards, the accolades, and things of that nature. It's more about the purpose for me. And the second book goes into, as I said before, talking about the inner demons that hold us back from accepting the cross, or just hold us down from believing who we can be, or achieving that potential of who we can be. And sometimes it leads to suicide. Sometimes it leads to people being locked up in these asylums because of these demons attacking them, because of the voices of the people getting stuck in our heads, and we start believing that we are nothing. We start actually accepting and holding on to what people said we were, or we are, or what we will be, instead of knowing who we are and trying to dismiss that. So I want people to understand that inner demon is not always a supernatural demon. It can sometimes be the voices or the mistakes that we made, and we're holding on to these mistakes, and we allow these inner demons to cause us sometimes physical harm. So I'm putting a face to the demons so people can actually see, sometimes as far as what I've been through, but
Mhm.
also hopefully can relate to the story of being, based on what they're going through, and just create this universe so we can release that superpower that we do have, and just unify. Because I also show coexistence, because I have friends. One of my friends is a witch. One of my friends is agnostic. It's so many things, but because we love and we respect each other, we still can get along with each other and be friends, and we're fighting evil. So it's like, just because they have a certain lifestyle, nobody's forcing nobody to become whatever lifestyle they're living. They're simply living, loving, and enjoying and helping. And it is so amazing what God has shown me how to put this story together. There's so much more to tell. I'm going to start writing book 3 next year, but I'm just so excited with what's happening with what's being created.
I have a lot of people, because of my shaman abilities and me being two-spirited, they always say to me, oh, you're a Sangama, you're a white witch, you're this, you're that. And coming from a religious background, I'd never heard those kinds of things. But what I understood is when I started to embrace who I was, the oracle, the prophet, the shaman, the seer, and the warrior. That is in me as well too. I do a lot of fighting for people and their belief system and their value system and their confidence. That's what my work is about. I find that, even in doing it, I have learned how to do it in a manner where you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. You feel it. And that's how I keep my following, because my following is, it doesn't matter what I'm saying. What matters is what you feel. So when you close your eyes and you hear my voice and you fall under the sound of my voice, your heart, your soul, your spirit lets you know, okay, this bitch knows what she's talking about. Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is too, it's like another reason I mentioned different beliefs. It may be the same thing,
Yep.
different religion. They just have a different title for it. So
Yep.
why
Yep.
can't we just
Mm-hmm.
let it be and just continue to love? Because
Yep.
someone else told me, because there was like, you do have Native American within you, and if you grew up within the tribe, you would probably be, from what I'm noticing about you, you would be a shaman or either a warrior,
You see?
because you do have supernatural ability. So they probably would kind of try to figure out what was the stronger trait. But you would be probably acknowledged as a shaman because you have vision.
Yep.
So, but someone of a Bible thumper
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
would say that I am practicing witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So
Divination.
and that's what I had to deal with growing up, because of things that were happening. People said that I was a voodoo man and I was practicing witchcraft, and it was crazy. I just was like, no, this is just who I am. I just pray. I pray to God for protection. And I started noticing people who were pretending to be friends or had ill will or negative things, or trying to make plans to harm me. Things were happening to them to protect me. I didn't have a doll of anybody throwing
Right.
any. It was what it was.
Right. One of the first images I saw you had a snake with you, and I never thought that that was evil. I never saw that as evil. I saw a beautiful man living in his power. I saw a beautiful man being himself. That's why I never forgot you. That from that encounter, I saw that and I never forgot you. And that's the thing. Like we need to understand, okay, and I love what you said, because you said it and I'm going to reiterate it. On this planet, there are multiple religions, multiple practices, multiple this, multiple that. But what I love, and you brought emphasis to it, is it's all the same thing. We just call this God of creation and the God of this galaxy and universe different things. Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad. We call him different things. And what we need to understand, and I used to say this before, they would say me I was too radical, but now my pastor follows me and several other pastors and bishops. Yeah. But I used to say all roads lead to the divine. They used to say it's one way and it's narrow. And I would say to them, no, the road is broad, because all roads lead to the divine. And they thought I was crazy.
And
Yes.
that's true though, because if it wasn't, why would God say I have many names? He would
Yep.
just have one within. So that makes perfect. That's proof right there. So, a
Yeah.
lot of people get mad at me when I say things like that. Another friend of mine, he's Buddhist, and he said, "Why don't you get mad when I say?" I said, "Well, from what I've read, it did say that there are many gods. So I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
say your God does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
But what I feel is if something needs to be acknowledged to me from you, the God that I serve will talk to the God that you serve and
Mm-hmm.
relay a message to me that needs to be done. And we work together just like they work together. Why can't we have a system just like they have a system? There's nothing wrong with that. He told Abraham in the Bible, you will have people to worship you. You will have many nations. So I'm not going to tell people to stop worshiping him
Yep.
after he was already
Yeah.
ordained to have people worship him. We'll just work together and the message will get to where it needs to be, because I do believe everything works in the way it's supposed to work out. I'm
Mm.
just supposed to do my part.
Yeah. I am the same way. I've been told all my life in church how anointed, how special, how unique, how powerful, dunamis I was. And I embraced all of that. But then once I embrace that and I decide to walk away and do my own thing, you can't now say that I'm vile, I'm repulsive, I'm a sinner. I don't use those words because the God that I believe in, and I don't even serve this God, we're friends. And he and we talk, we converse. And he's like, okay, listen, I'm in the spirit world, but you're in the natural. So how can we collaborate here so that you can bring what you need to bring? I'm not doing his bidding. He can do his own bidding. So it's how can we collaborate? Because of course, he's a sage, he knows more. So that's the thing. How can we collaborate to make what you're doing more effective? That's the kind of conversations we have. I'm like, it's never about, oh, you need to serve me. Oh, you need to bow down to me. No, no. How can we get your following to understand more that being confident and loving themselves is the key to everything they need to do?
Yeah. And
What
that's kind of like with me.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
For me, one of the things that I was tasked to do was let people know who felt God doesn't love them, let them know he does love you. Despite what
Yes.
people are saying, he does love you. So, I know you said you abandoned him. You believed in God and you abandoned him because you were told he doesn't love you because of who you are. That's not true. You do have that offer to bring him back or reconnect with him if you want to. Also, I'm not forcing you to believe in, like I said earlier, to believe anything you don't believe, but just know, you don't have to live this life of hatred, of revenge, of all these negative things you're doing. Now, that's the God that you're serving, a God of vengefulness. Then just be ready for the repercussions and the consequences that are going to come with that. But just know you have options. If you want to be loved, you can be loved. But we just have to understand that there are other options other than reacting. And then sometimes you don't have to react or respond to certain things. So that's what I want people to understand with this universe that I'm creating. To give them options, to give them choices, and help them to understand that they can definitely heal. And I want to help them to heal inside and out as best as possible.
You are doing the work of a shaman. Tell me, what is the name of the universe you're creating?
War Angel. That is actually the name of it. The War Angel universe. I just created a website a few weeks ago, actually. So I'm working on getting that. Thank you.
I'm so glad that we're having this conversation and it's going quite well because people need to understand there are more. There's more, there's more, there's more. We meet, sometimes we encounter people and they're so powerful and we can feel it from them. We can feel it. And we all wonder, how did they get that? How did they get that? It's because they know who they are and they know who they're created to be and connected to. Like some people, I have friends and they're like, listen, on my altar are pictures of my grandmother. I'm talking to my ancestors. I'm not talking to any God. I'm talking to the people that forged me. And my grandpa, my grandma are on my altar. And I go to them for guidance for the family and for what I'm supposed to do.
My mom laughed at me when she came to my apartment or my house, and she saw that when I had a house in Atlanta, and she saw my altar with my relative's obituary. She said, "What is this?" I said, "It's my altar, my secret closet." Well, you're not supposed to be over here. That's my secret closet.
Yeah.
Well, don't you pray? I pray to God, and I also talk to my family. When we have these funerals, we say "gone and not forgotten," right? So what's wrong with remembering them and talking to them?
Right.
When I pray to God, because they're in the spiritual realm also watching over me, and God is tasking them to do certain things. So remember that system I talked about? Yeah, they're a part of it.
Yeah. People can't, what it is, people can't take people like you. They can't take people like you.
It sounds too deep.
Yeah. And what I love is that you have never, I've watched you for years, you have never backed down. It don't matter what these people say or do. It don't matter what it is. So tell us, I'm just going to segue for a moment. what are your favorite things to eat? Because you are in excellent shape and I need to know what you eat.
It's
You
crazy.
don't
I've
look
always been a
42 at all. You don't look 42 at all, like nowhere, nowhere. So your age
thank
must
you.
be in your universe, that galaxy. Yeah.
I guess he stopped time for me. That's that angel
Uh-huh.
the
Frozen in a
infinite.
moment. Frozen in a moment.
It's crazy too because God, showed that to me. He said, well, vampires aren't the only thing that have long lives. Angels do. They live forever too. So you can acknowledge the angels as well when you
Yes.
say the when you're talking about lifespan. So I guess that's part of that. But I've always been a picky eater since I was a child. I stayed away from fatty foods. You give me a chicken thigh, I would dissect that thing and try to scrape off all the fat.
So you want all the
I,
goodness out. You like, I don't want that.
oh,
I don't want
mm-mm.
that.
I ate pepperoni pizza, but I had all these napkins dabbing all the grease out of it. I was like, hold on, you got some more napkins over there? I'm just sitting here popping all the grease out because I didn't.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But I normally do just right now, just in poultry, chicken, turkey, more so just chicken breast
Yeah.
and, fish, cod. I did salmon until I realized salmon was a very fatty fish. So now it's just more so cod. A lot of salads, and, just exercise at home as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause no, I don't eat any red meat. I haven't eaten red meat since I was 19 years old.
Oh
And that,
wow.
yeah, and that is how I maintained my youth. And the crazy thing about it was it when the divine started speaking to me, that was, I never told anybody this. It was kind of my tribute. It's like, it was like an eternal fast. I will never, to thank you for rescuing me out of such a difficult situation, even though I didn't know what was ahead of me, and what was ahead of me was way more difficult. I said, as tribute to you, I will not eat red meat. And I did that. And that was the only thing. And I never ate red meat. I haven't eaten red meat since I was 19.
See, my mom, she gets on me when I go home to visit, which is another reason why I kind of slowed down going
Yeah.
home on the holidays. You ate it growing up. You ate it growing up. I said, well, mom, that was growing up. As I started getting older, I started to hear and started to realize, certain things are not supposed to be eaten. Well, the God said everything I created is good. I said, yes, everything he created is good, but it's not good to eat. It has a
Right.
purpose and it's not, you want to eat it, go ahead, that's fine. But he showed me I have options. Even when it comes to slaves had to eat the scraps. But when we became free, we no longer had to eat the scraps anymore. Now, some people continue to eat the scraps because they see it as creating a meal from the scraps. But I have better options, and I'm going to go with those better options unless I'm in a situation where I have to eat certain foods.
Yeah.
Like if I'm living in the woods and the only thing that is available is a cow or something like that, then I have to make do with what my environment is.
Yeah.
But I don't have to do that right now.
People need to leave you alone. They need to leave you alone. Your mama. It's like, mama, we could have a beautiful relationship, but you just won't accept me for who I am, which causes discord.
And it's crazy because I don't know if she just loves to just have me talk about it because she'll say what she's not gonna do. I'm not gonna cook no extra food. I say, well, that's fine. I'll go buy something. No, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead. So this is your pot, and this is for everybody.
I had that when I was younger too. Yeah, I had that too. This was my pot, and it was difficult because we were struggling, but my uncle still made sure this is your pot of crab claws and all of this stuff, and the steak and stuff over here is for your brothers and sisters. Yeah, I did drive my family crazy with that because I went real rogue at 19, but before that, 16, 15, 14, I was like, I don't want any red meat. Like I was playing with it. I don't want red meat. I'm not gonna eat that. And I don't miss a cheeseburger. I don't. No, I don't
I
miss a
don't either.
cheeseburger. But I find that it kind of it helped with my youth and vitality. I don't drink also apple juice or orange juice. Neither one of them. And I can't even tell you why. Like I don't know. Like when I was coming out of school, being medically withdrawn, and I had to go into the hospital for months. I just as I got in there, I just heard different things from my life, like don't drink orange juice, don't drink apple juice, don't eat red meat. Those were the things. So I was like, okay, fine. And I don't. I've tried, and literally my body, even with orange juice, it's too acidic. Now that I haven't drank it for so long, it's too acidic.
Yeah.
And as a singer and a speaker, I can't do the ascorbic acid. I can't do it.
Mm. And that's interesting you say that because I find myself not drinking any juice at all. Literally, the
Yeah,
only time I would drink that is if my family comes to visit or something. I would
yeah,
buy it for them, and I have to drink it to get it out of my fridge because I don't want to
yeah,
throw it in the trash. But
right.
I don't buy apple juice, orange juice. The only thing I drink is water
Yeah, see, that's why you're
and
so
lemon juice.
gorgeous. That's why you're gorgeous. Look at that. So the only thing I drink is water. I have a friend like that. His name is Basil. Basil only drinks water. And I'm just like, and he's been doing that. He's been doing that for years, like for years. And it's just, it's amazing of him. So what's your birth sign?
I'm a Gemini.
You're a Gemini. I'm a Libra. We're air signs. That's why
Yes,
we feel, that's why we get along the way that we do. So tell us, what's your favorite color?
sky blue.
Sky blue. Why?
It's just so relaxing for me. And it's crazy because some people say you probably like the color because you're an air sign, but I don't know. I say, it's also the color of water because I do love the water. So it's like that mixture between a sky blue or that ocean blue is just so calming for me. And it just allows me to literally just find my zen and just,
Yeah.
that's mainly why.
Yeah, any body of water helps me to channel my ancestors. Yeah. Like even when it's so crazy because even when I need to get through and I can't get away, I'll go in the bathroom and turn on the tub and the water
Mm,
will run and the sound of the water and I'm able to get through.
wow.
I guess I'm doing Constantine. You saw the movie with Keanu Reeves. I'm doing Constantine.
Yes.
I need to get through. I need to get through. I need to get through. So tell us, like, because I was looking and a lot of your stuff is accredited. You've won awards.
Yes, for the War Angel, as you see behind me, this is the latest award I got with the War Angel Inner Demons. Well, actually, no, that was for War Angel: The Awakening,
Mm-hmm.
a film festival over in Barcelona, Spain.
Yes.
That was very amazing, and it's crazy because when I created the film War Angel: The Awakening, I had to do everything myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I was told, you can't be the actor and the director and do everything. And I said, well, it doesn't seem like if I don't fill those shoes and put that hat on, it's gonna get done. And I can't continue to keep begging people, especially if I don't have the finances, because I don't have a lot of money. I don't come from a rich family. I'm
Right.
very poor when
Right.
it comes to finances. But I was told by God to do this, so I'm just gonna do my best. Even when it came to editing, I had to edit it myself
Mm-hmm.
because people were trying to take advantage of me. I paid someone a good $2,000 from the money that I saved up and from being a flight attendant. But I started realizing these people were taking advantage of me. So I prayed and I prayed, and God said, like I said, get it done. So I just started watching YouTube videos and I put it all together. And people kept saying, this isn't going to go anywhere. This is just a waste of time. And next thing I know, I started submitting the film, even though it didn't come out the way I really wanted it to come out. I started submitting it to film festivals. And next thing I know, the film is winning awards, not really because of the quality of the picture, but because of the message within the story.
Yeah.
And the same people that told me I shouldn't do what I was doing started sending me their resume asking could they be in the next one.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Isn't that something? But that's the mark of a true divinely connected individual. Isn't that something? You
It's
up here?
amazing.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you, where do you like to travel and where have you been? That's the next question. And of
Mhm.
course, you started with Barcelona, Spain, because you had to go over there and get the award.
Yes, and
Yeah.
also Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be a few other places, but they had to cancel because
Mm-hmm.
the festivals were doing COVID,
COVID.
and they just mailed me the trophies, and they did the virtual film festivals. So
Mm-hmm.
one was in Atlanta. I want to say it was a black film festival.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the new script won as well as the War Angel: The Awakening. So it won best LGBT feature film, Screenplay won best written screenplay. It was just amazing. The accolades and the awards. I want to say it's been about 15 or so
Yeah.
total, and it's just blowing my mind. It's really blowing my mind. Now, as I'm working on a mini series, I found out last month someone published the miniseries in a Hollywood publication. So I'm getting people from all aspects, from working on Stranger Things, Marvel and DC, sending me their resumes, telling me that they're interested in working on this project. And
Wow.
I'm like, okay, God, I only saved up $10,000 to put this one together. Um, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm very grateful, you know. So let me just continue to move forward. And if they were meant to be a part of this project, things are going to happen and they're going to be a part of it. But
What
I'm
is
excited.
what is meant to be will be, because when you are doing the work of the divine, money is no object. It's going to all come together and it's going to be amazing. And that's the thing. And there are others, and I'm seeing this, and I'm saying this as a shaman. There are others that are going to try to be involved and offer financial support, but they're going to want too much of the ownership. So don't go that way. They're going, oh, well, if we just, no, don't let them change it. Don't let them pick it up. Well, if I pick it up, no, do it your way. That's what I've learned. Do it your way, because you did it your way the first time. 15 awards, recognition, IMDb, all of that had came, all of that is out there. You do it your way. You stick to your plan. And, I have an interview today with someone who started a record label years ago, and his partner, in the record label, he introduced me to his partner, and his partner told me, oh, you need to wear suits and you need to sing lower and you need to do this and that. And I can't wait for that interview to say, um,
Right,
um, not my fault. You couldn't see.
right. And that's something I
I
have to,
saw.
right. And it's something I have to make a slight adjustment, because to be honest with you, this isn't even my way, because how I was trying to design things and do things, it didn't work out. It worked out better because God said no. I said I wanted it done this way. And because you stay faithful and because you've been obedient was one of the
Yeah.
main things, now I'm going to allow this to happen. But you're right, because I've had someone try to reach out to me and say, well, HBO can pick it up and they're going to have, they're going to pay this and they're going to pay the person for this, but they're going to probably change this. I said, no, no, no.
Mm-mm.
I have to decline. But HBO, I have to decline.
Yep.
God gave me a cross to bear.
Yep.
And I said, yes.
Yep.
Now, there are certain people that he told me that he wanted to reach. Just because HBO has the money, that is nice and that is cute.
Mm-hmm.
But the purpose is what's important to me. And I need to make sure that I reach those people who are needed to be reached.
Right.
I'm not going to throw that away for money.
Right. I've been telling everybody in my interviews, I did the Queen of Shade for 5.5 years. On New Year's Day, she will be 6 years old. She's still mine. I own the trademark. And I didn't make a single dime.
Hmm.
I didn't make a single dime. I reached out to other creators for pointers on how to monetize my platforms. And I discovered, the same way everyone else does, that people want you to do well, but not better than them. And so I was like, God, I can't continue to do this if I don't have finances. This costs. And the divine quickly said to me, well, don't you have it? Don't you have the wigs? Don't you have the glasses? Don't you have the dresses? Then you have what you need. Continue, the money will come. And these glasses, and that's what trips me out, relationships. These glasses are designed by the same designer that designs Beyonce, Cardi B, Megan Thee
Wow.
Stallion, all of their glasses. He designed these for me. His name is Corey Woods of Your Rockin' Company. He's out of New York. And here I am wearing a pair of glasses I can't afford.
And that's what's happening for me. I mean,
Mhm.
just this summer, I was working behind the scenes on a show called Love Life.
Mhm.
And in the middle of filming, the director said, hold the roll. And she started to walk. I said, oh, somebody must have dropped something. She's trying to show them. She continued to walk and she started walking in my direction. I said, oh, I must see something over here. Let me see if I need to fix something. And she stopped and said, I know you.
Mm.
I said, yes, because we work together. She said, I thought that was the case. What was the name of the show? We said at the same time, Harlem.
Mm.
Yes, you were standing in for the actors. I said, yes. She said, I remember that day. I just wanted to properly introduce myself because I never did. My name is Stacy. And we just had a quick conversation. And she said, okay, well, we need to stay connected. I'll be talking to you later.
Yeah.
And she went back to the what they call a video village. She said, okay, pictures up. I said, wait, did she just pause filming to come over out of everybody in here to speak to me? And from
Mm.
that, we just blossomed into a beautiful friendship. It just became amazing. And everybody was like, who is this guy? What's going on? And the people that God started introducing into my life to build relationships, not to use, but to build a relationship,
Yeah.
has just been mind blowing and has been such a beautiful thing.
You know what I noticed, and I want to say this in your interview so that people can hear it. Um, Artists never start out with the money they need. It's never enough because art, just like life, is always progressive. So you're always going to need more. There's always going to be a next level to take it to. And money is always going to be something that has to be sought after or proportioned out or rationed out. But I don't mind. I don't mind because at the end of the day, the work and what is created is so timeless, so beautiful. And see, people don't understand. Yeah, you may have struggled to create that thing. Oh, but the residuals. Oh, now that's where you make your money. The residuals. Yes,
But
that's.
it becomes even more meaningful because of you not having that money and sticking
Mhm,
through all of those hard times and making the
mhm.
sacrifice. It just makes it so much worthwhile.
Yeah, they start to realize, oh my God, and but that's what I love. A bright new stars don't come in with a lot of money. I remember watching Andre Leon Talley in a fashion film, and he was talking about John Galliano. And he said, this man has created art and he has done it with very little money. Said he has no money. There is no money. Yet and still Galliano was the talk of the fashion world,
Wow.
you know? And my thing is, it comes eventually, but not all of a sudden.
Right.
It comes later. But it's amazing when you can create something and that, wow, I did that with $500.
Right. And when
And
the
I
money does
created that.
come, I've already told God, I said, I already have the school ready to build to help the people. I
Mhm,
already have the safe place to put together to help the
mhm.
people from the LGBT community that are being put out still when
Yeah.
they come out to their family.
Mhm.
So thank you for helping me just what the universe is. It's not just the film, it's also the schools to give people that performing arts education that they need that they can't afford. It's also the living space that they need that they don't have because they've been kicked out of their homes just for being themselves. So it is a universe of being and also putting on the talent shows to help the community so they can focus on creating a dance instead of creating chaos and catastrophe within that
Yeah.
community. So I'm just so excited what God has shown me to put together, and I'm going to stick with it and fight and do what I need to do to make sure it manifests into reality.
I'm going to tell you something my grandmother said to me. God promised to give me the wealth of secret places,
Mm.
hidden places, things wealth that people didn't even understand was there. And then furthermore, how did this bitch get access to it? And I'm going to say that to you. You're going to obtain the wealth of hidden places, all that money that's stored up in God's storehouse, not man's. You know, his storehouse is much larger than ours. So all that wealth in secret places, that real serious wealth that don't nobody know how you did it and why you did it and what you had to do, that wealth is coming your way. And I look forward to seeing it as you receive what I'm saying to you. I look forward to seeing it because you have a mighty work to do. You are not done. You will not be done for a long time. I see your work carrying you into your 60s and your 70s, but it's going to be beneficial and help and save many lives. So with that, I done messed you up. Now with that, give me 3 words that inspire you. I done messed you up, I know.
Oh,
I know. I know. I just say what I say. I say what I see. I say what I hear. So give us 3 words that inspire you.
that inspire me.
It can be a phrase too, if it needs to be.
So it would definitely be that phrase that I've heard, that I've been saying for quite a while. I will do what I can, when I can, while I can, until God calls me home.
That's it. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been properly introduced to Mr. Matthew Carter, AKA War Angel.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, and thank you. This platform is new for me. I'm enjoying this because I get to talk to phenomenal creatives such as yourself.
And I have to say as well, because I didn't say it, you know, you mentioned how I helped you in your building process. It really means a lot because not everybody will reach back.
You know? Mm-hmm.
They don't reach back
Mm-hmm.
to uplift those
Mm-hmm.
that believe in them in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you for that.
You are so welcome. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Just the beginning. For you and I both. And we've been doing it for so long.
Amen to that.
It's just the beginning. You watch. You mark my words. Okay, say goodbye to these people so I can run.